Just the Thought podcast. We are back with another one. Shout out to my co-host Andre.
What's up, you guys?
Yes, and my other co-host Teon. We are back with another one. Dre, how's everything been, man?
Everything's going great, man. I'm so glad to be seeing the episodes, As you guys know, I was away, just got married, was on my honeymoon. So it's been a really busy few couple months. But I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to see that Ray continuing his passion, give you
Right.
guys a platform to speak about your experience. It's been great, man. How are you doing?
Everything's been good, bro. I just been pretty much uh doing the podcast, relaxing, bro. I've been taking a lot of time this summer just to relax and like work on my mental health and work on the projects I want to do in the future. So it's been really good because I've been very consistent and I feel like I'm in a better place than I was maybe 2 months ago. I could
It's
truly
wonderful, man.
say that I've been working really hard and like I love every improvement that I have made this summer. So I'm excited to see what comes next, and I'm excited to keep moving forward. So
Yo, that's
Sounds
great to
great,
hear,
I'm
man.
man.
excited, bro. I'm excited.
Yeah,
Tia, how you been, bro?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Life is sweet. I can't complain. Got two beautiful kids, got a wife. Everything's going the right direction where I needed to go. I keep working towards my goal to provide for my kids and my wife, and that's basically how it's going to be for the rest of the next couple of years. So I'm in the perfect spot. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, it's good
wonderful,
to
man.
Yeah.
hear, man. So
Hmm.
we got a special guest on the podcast today. First of all,
That's
I want
right.
to thank you. I want to thank you so much for coming on and taking your time. But I'm excited to learn about your love for music, your
The
love for
journey.
singing, your journey. So I think
Hmm.
this will be a really good show. But thank you for taking this time and opportunity to come talk to us. But you can introduce yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me over. I'm
Hmm.
so a little bit nervous.
It's okay.
No need to
Happy,
be.
but happy to be here. My name is Frankie Maston. I'm a singer-songwriter and a performer and a cultural rights activist from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. I am currently in San Francisco. So what I basically do is, apart from singing, which is like my favorite thing, and music, is I create safe spaces for alternative artists and queer artists from Tanzania to have a safe space to express themselves and tell their stories, create content around it, make money. And yeah, so and I do that mostly because I come from a country where you're excluded when you are either a queer artist or if you are an alternative artist and you're not singing like the everyday pop music that
Hmm.
people like to listen to, like that the mainstream really just pushes out there. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've been singing for, I mean, I think I started my career in 2016, if not 17. I started as a live performer and then I released my first single in 2017. And then ever since then, I went on to being an internationally touring artist. I just wanted to explore countries and audiences out there just to see what's out there for me. And so I've been to a few countries in Africa and Europe as well. And now I'm here in the US exploring this space as well.
How you
Oh,
liking
Wow.
perfect.
how you liking the United States?
I am loving it. I'm in San Francisco, so I'm like going crazy over it.
Is it
I mean,
everything that you always thought of?
no. There's
Mm.
certain things that and I don't know if I can say them, but there's certain things I don't want to get canceled by the Americans.
Nah, it's okay.
You're safe on the show.
Yes.
So it's just that here's the thing, and I give a lot of what's the word here? I'm missing the word. Like my first language is Swahili, so sometimes I
Mm.
forget words. I don't even know what to say. But I'm so proud of Africa because when you are in Africa and you haven't explored the world, you would think that you know what, I'm in this place where it's like it's so slow, it's like there isn't much, and somehow that's somehow because we're told to believe that. And so when you travel the world, you get to see that all the other places, as much as these countries are like first world countries and they're big countries and very developed, and like technology is all over there, like there's all this progress which I'm not going to take away, but also there's all these challenges that when you go back home in Africa, you're like, we're doing really great. And so yeah, there's certain things I've just been shocked with regards to just going out in, I don't know if I can say this, but
You
I,
go ahead.
I was I was really shocked to, and this is also something one of my friends said, to like find that there is a very large number of people that are homeless here. And
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's normal. Yeah.
yeah, and somehow you're taught to believe that like people back at home have no homes in Africa, whereas
Hmm.
it's completely different. I have never seen a scenario so intense like ever since when I came to the United States. And so I don't know. I don't want to say that I understand or I even know uh, my like around what the like just understand or know around it, but all I'd say is that's one thing that really shocked me. But one other thing that really shocked me is how I feel like I'm in such personally as a queer artist, I feel like I'm in such a free world. I often do not have to look over my shoulder and be like, oh my God, are they looking at me funny? Or especially because I'm in San Francisco, I think like
Hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like I found my tribe here.
Your tribe. That's a good way
Musically,
to put it.
That's a good way
yeah,
to put it.
musically, personally as well. So it's like there's this way I'm like I gel. Yeah, so that's the other thing that I was surprised. It was so normal for me to just minimize myself and just like be try to make myself invisible, as much as it was so hard because I'm an artist who's always performing. But like on a daily life, like on a day-to-day basis, I find that I have to minimize myself and just make myself invisible because I don't want to attract attention that is going to harm me or hurt me. But here, I'm like,
It's the free world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
free world.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. What is something that the United States is missing that Africa has? Because the United States is always stereotypical wise, it's always known as the perfect place to live. But clearly, me living in a different country, Teon as well, we've seen what some things that with the United States is missing. But in your opinion, what do you think the United States is missing from your experience?
okay, first of all, disclaimer, I haven't been here too long to set strong
Okay,
opinions.
okay.
But I would say, what am I missing from back at home? And I would speak specifically for Tanzania, because even in other,
Yeah.
like, if I say all of Africa, Africa is also very diverse and
It's
like
very
so,
Yes, it
diverse.
is.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yes, it
very
is.
Hmm.
diverse.
Yeah.
So let me
Yeah,
speak
I
for
have.
Tanzania and any other country that kind of relates to Tanzania. First of all, the first thing is there's this sense of just being in a peaceful space where I can speak to anyone, I can engage with anyone without having to feel like it's awkward or them feeling like it's awkward. Like I find that here, sometimes even just asking for directions, because I get lost all the time. So sometimes just asking
It's
directions
understandable.
Yeah.
can can be tricky. And I
Yeah.
usually just I give it a go, and but then I can always feel like there's a guard. So that just like that easiness of being like, there's this, I don't know, the energies around. There's this energy where it's like, hey, it's just like it's all chill, it's all like going, it's all flowing with the waves. That's one thing that I feel like is missing here, and there's a lot of that back at home. I miss the food. I'm like, sorry, but I just gotta go there. Like I'm a foodie, and I feel like food tastes way better back at home. So I'm sorry, shots fired. But um but what else? What else that Africa has this beauty when you're just when you are in Africa, you just like there's this organic feel that you have back at home with everything that you see, like pretty much everything.
Sounds
And
like Wakanda.
I mean, yes, exactly. Like there's this organicness of things that is just so unmatched and you will never find anywhere. Like I haven't traveled that much, but being in Africa, Europe, and now having to see some parts of the United States, I'm like, yeah, you know, anywhere you go, nowhere be like Africa.
No, yeah. You know what? Like listening to you say that, growing up, and I can speak for Andre and Teon. Like growing up, we were taught like Africa is very poor.
Yeah, they have
Africa
no
is
water.
very. I got no
Yeah, they
water.
promote it a lot.
I was now, but like when I got older and I met people from Africa and like hearing their stories and hearing how much they love being at home, it was
Mhm.
like African Americans have been missing this type of information for years. And
Hmm.
now I'm happy that we are starting to go there and like learn about it. And I'm happy
Hmm.
things are starting to change because it's such a beautiful continent with a lot of musical history, with a lot of different cultures, with a lot of different type of festivals, tribes. It's like we needed to learn that when we were younger, and it's unfortunate that we know it now. But the good thing is that we are progressing, and I think it's going to be a lot better in the future that more people are going to Africa and seeing for what it is.
I,
Now go ahead,
I
Dre.
would say
and
I was yeah, okay. Go ahead, Dre. Yeah.
all right, I was just saying, like, I appreciate the fact that like black people are traveling now. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because
Yeah.
you're expanding your horizon and you're seeing a whole different world that we were kind of limiting to. Like before
yeah,
I started traveling, I didn't
Mhm.
go anywhere else. The most like I'm from the northeast in America, and the most before when I was younger, like before sixth grade, the first I ever traveled was like down south, where my family was like originally from. And that
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
that was vacation, but it wasn't vacation. Like
it wasn't
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
vacation.
got your friends going to different continents, going to Europe. But once
Yeah.
that door
Yeah.
kind of opened, I seen again how much propaganda is kind of spewed here, and you kind of got
Yeah.
you get a real gauge of like what's really out there. And ever since I've been
Yeah.
traveling, I don't want to stop now. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, it's actually the truth what you're saying. Yeah, it's 100% because when I first came to Europe, I saw like how everything that is in the textbooks is actually not true. There's only a very
Hmm.
few things that might be factual, but I've seen that actually I've also been to Africa, only Egypt. Unfortunately, I would like to go to other places, so I'll probably be booking some places in Africa soon. Tanzania is also one of them, so
Oh
most
yeah.
likely I'll be going to. Yeah, yeah, because I actually have a really good friend over there and he was in America. He went to school and now he works over there and thing. And he has his parents, his whole family's over there. So I'll probably be visiting him, and his sister and stuff, one day. I gotta work that all out because now I got kids and stuff. But, everything, it's completely different. And the sad thing is that the way they control America with how they have, you know, they put everything on TV on how Africa is with kids with flies and stuff like that, and they're always hungry, and
Hmm.
you don't want to go to a place like that. That stuff like that is to keep Africa poor, to have less
Yeah,
tourism going and stuff. So then our countries would benefit more, right, by keeping the people and the money there, and then Africa would be suffering and not having as much money because they're showing all the bad parts. And when you go there, you would actually see very beautiful beaches and very beautiful towns and stuff. It's really, really a great, amazing place. Of course, every place has a bad area somewhere,
for
right?
sure.
This is everywhere in the world like that. But the way they put it on TV, it's completely wrong.
And
Yeah,
to add to that, I feel really bad because somehow it actually also gets into our heads, even
Hmm.
as Africans, like it somehow makes us feel like it makes us embrace this feeling of inferiority. And I'll give you
Hmm.
um examples like when something is so good and it is in Africa, people would really be quick to question if it's actually and like originally African. For
Hmm.
example, I'll speak about music. When like often people would tell me when they listen to my music, they'll be like, "Oh my God, you sound very international. Like you sound like you're not from here." You
Mm-hmm.
sound like, like where were you raised? Or like what are your influences? Like you just like you don't belong here. And I'm like, that's really not fair for Africa. It's not fair for Tanzania
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
I'm here and I have been here all my life and
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I just sound different. And just because maybe this sound kind of resonates to an international sound, then you feel like
Mm-hmm.
Tanzania doesn't deserve it. It's like
Yeah.
you're too good, so just go out there. And
Yeah.
it hurts me to hear that. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, so what does that mean about all the other diverse sounds that are here, that are at home?
Mm-hmm.
What does that say about them? And then the other thing is, one time I was booked to perform at a private island, one of the most beautiful places um
Mm-hmm.
been to all my life, and this is worldwide. And
Mm-hmm.
it is in Tanzania. It's in Mafia. Mafia is an island just next to Tanzania, just like how Zanzibar is right over there, and then there's Mafia.
Yeah.
And then
I
right
think
next
my friend lives near Zanzibar, so I'll probably be going somewhere in that area.
Zanzibar
But
is
yeah,
so
go ahead.
go there. So
Mm-hmm.
I went to this private island just near Mafia, and I was posting on my social media, and people were like, "What country are you in? Where's that place? When did you travel?" I'm like, "Hi, I'm in Tanzania. I haven't traveled outside the country.
Yeah.
There's no such place." I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, we have everything. We have everything from the advancement to like just like the whole spectrum is there, and I love that. And I feel like it's something we need to really value, that we have all of that. You can literally go
Mm-hmm.
to the villages where, yes, you find the huts and the whatnots, and that's so beautiful in its own way. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's so
Mm-hmm.
therapeutic. I have a friend who
Mm-hmm.
lives far away from town, and sometimes when we visit him, we're going to the village. And when we go there, we usually leave that place feeling way more whole, because sometimes when you're in the city, it can get so chaotic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so we're
Hmm.
taught to just to think that we don't deserve good things.
I
Yeah.
will,
This is
It's
true.
true.
Yeah.
It's true.
um, when in regards to your music, have you ever thought of a way that you could highlight those places with your music, like creatives, like videos and whatnot, things that could kind of bring your culture some more exposure, you know? Because like a lot of times I realize that we don't, unless we see someone has influence, we kind of follow their lives a little bit, and that opens up doors to other things, you know? And I
Mhm.
get it. Like there are microaggressions here all the time where people, the they minimize, you know, your experience and where you come and who you are because they want to relate to it, you know? But
Yeah.
like, that's who you are. Tanzania is who you are, you know, it's a part of where you come from. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, maybe just thinking about if you start making music videos or like clips, maybe you can highlight some of those parts of your culture. Just an idea to throw out there.
Oh yeah,
Or,
you know what? Thank you. And it's very important to do that. Like I have a few music videos. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's and when you look at my videos, it's I have highlighted where I actually come from. I've shot them at home,
Mm-hmm.
and and it's like there's this one song called Mina Wewe. It kind of like shows. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I listened to the
Yeah.
album.
if you
Yes. I like that song.
Hmm.
and so I haven't yet released any visuals for the album, for the
Mm-hmm.
EP actually,
Hmm.
Yeah.
mirrored. And so yeah, and I find myself on this side, and so I'm like, I want to release visuals, and now I'm here. So how do I do that? But then
Hmm.
at the same time, I feel like even when you are outside of Africa, you can still showcase for example, for me, I can still showcase the richness of it through technology, just like can make you do anything these days. So there's that. Yeah, but that's a great idea. That's something that always runs on my mind.
What is the meaning to that song? I don't want to pronounce it again. I don't know how to say it. What is the meaning to the song?
Mina Wewe. So Mina
What's the
Wewe is,
Mina Wewe. That's
yeah.
No,
beautiful.
wait, wait.
Mina
And
Wewe.
Yeah.
how you guys are pronouncing it. Mina Wewe. So
Mina Wewe.
guys like Mina Wewe. It's interesting.
It kind of sounds. It kind of
Mina
sounds.
Wewe.
It kind of
Mina
sounds.
Wewe.
It kind of sounds Paswa a little bit. No.
A
Yeah, a
little
little
bit.
You
bit.
know,
Yeah,
wait,
yeah.
wait.
Mina Wewe.
You know, wait, wait.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Come
has that.
on.
It has that.
So yeah, so Mina Wewe is it basically means me and you. So Mina Wewe. And that's Swahili. But also me is like I have it's kind of like I've it's a bit of slang, if that's the right word to use here. So it's basically Mimi na wewe. Mimi is me, na is and, wewe is you. So, but just to make it fit in there, I was like me na wewe. And the song is basically a love song, yeah. And I don't know why usually when I write sometimes when I'm writing a love song, sometimes I think of what people would be saying to each other as like vows or just like wedding vibes. Anyway, so
I have a question. So within your journey, right? We want to know, where did this music, like, where did you get inspired from, to just create so much music, and where did it all start?
it's so interesting
Journey.
because like where I come from, like my whole family and clan, like I'm trying to think right now. And this is I'm thinking, and I've thought about this before.
Yeah,
I do not see a single musician, like artists.
maybe church or something, somewhere around there, maybe.
Yes,
Yeah.
I explored with music in church, but I got kicked out of the choir.
Oh,
This one time I got kicked out of the choir because like I just didn't fit in. And then and then
so they're lost.
I was just too extra. And then another time when I was much, much older and I tried to get in the choir again, I wasn't allowed to sing in the choir because of my identity. And that was, yeah. But anyway, so yeah, the church has influenced my singing and but mostly I grew up listening to, so my dad studied in Boston.
Oh,
He
okay.
he had his master's in Boston. And then when he came back home, that is when I was really, really young. This is like many years ago. He came back with a lot of records by so many artists. And that's when I got exposed to
The
Mariah
music
Carey.
catalog.
Yes, to
Hmm.
Mariah Carey, to Whitney, to Aretha, to like some of these legends that
Yeah.
Hmm.
I call them my vocal mothers because I feel like they raised me musically. And so when I would listen to their Celine Dion, when I would listen to their songs, I would just be like, oh my God, how do they do that? And then I would explore, and somehow I found that I can actually do this too. And then the other thing is, my mom, though she doesn't know this, my mom has a beautiful voice. Like, I don't think she knows this. She has a beautiful voice. She can sing really beautifully. And so most of the time I'd hear her. And it's funny because we sound exactly the same. So I would hear her singing sometimes when I was young, and I'd just be like, that's nice. And then I'd try to sing along, and it would be so beautiful. And I was like, maybe I can do this. So I explored with music once when I grew up, and I had the chance to explore with music because, again, back in Africa, this is one problem that I really hope goes away very soon, where art is not very it's not really considered a career. So when you're an artist, when you're a singer, when you're a painter, when you're an actor, actress,
Hmm.
like your parents will be like, so when are you going to get a real job? There is that thing. So
Yeah, when are you going to be a
Yeah.
lawyer, a doctor?
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that kind of
Yep.
thing. Yeah.
So pursuing a career in anything art is sometimes looked at as so once I was done with my degree, then I was like, okay, mama, there's your degree. Now I'm going to explore music and fashion, the things
Hmm.
I love. So yeah, I just grew up listening to amazing, amazing artists, and that's what
Who
inspired.
who is the greatest vocalist of all time?
To
That is
In
you.
your
If
opinion.
you
Yeah,
had
to
to
you.
pick one, if you had to pick one,
Yeah.
okay. I can't pick one because there's many. Okay, so can I pick two?
all right,
Yeah,
two,
sure.
two.
Yeah.
And these are people that inspired me anyway. So I'm gonna say Mariah because I'm just like, girl, how do you do that?
Hmm.
And because I'm just like I have a huge musical crush on her. Like I just really I'm inspired every day.
Hmm.
And then and then another person would be, oh God, I'm so like people would be like, Frankie, that's so biased of you. I love Beyonce. Okay. And I think she's the greatest vocalist because I don't understand how that human being can dance like that and jump up and down like that and like do all she does and still sound so good or even better than her records. I should have mentioned her first, I think. So those two, I'd say those. Yeah, but there's so many,
Beyonce.
and I feel so I feel like it's so unfair that I had to just mention one or two.
No, no, I understand.
We asked you though. We asked you.
Beyonce is probably number one for me, but no, it's a difficult question because I'm contemplating Beyonce or Whitney Houston, and
Yeah,
it's like, but
Whitney would be my
Beyonce
pick.
might Beyonce Whitney Houston's amazing,
Yeah,
Hmm.
but
Whitney would be my number
Beyonce
one for that.
Beyonce for me is the it's the more I'm more into Beyonce than Whitney. That's the reason why she's over it. But that's the
Mhm.
only reason why. Whitney has an amazing voice. It's very difficult.
I can understand Beyonce for sure because like I also like how she can get really really high with her notes, and then also she can go real low if she needs to. So like
Exactly.
that's really impressive. I feel like some people are either one or the other, but like
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. You've been performing on stage live. Can you tell us your first time performing? What was that feeling like on stage?
So I'll give you two stories. One is when I was 12 years old and I performed in front of it was a talent show in school in when I was in primary school, and that was the first time I actually sang in front of anyone. And so it was I feel like that was the best like the nothing can top that, not even if not even when I win these Grammys and all these awards and all these accolades, it
Yeah.
can't stop
Yeah, I
because
like that.
I was
Hmm.
I was in a I was in a talent night event in school, and I went and I sang, and all these kids, kids are just energetic and they can't be quiet. Okay.
Hmm.
And so I have and I also like I feel like I have a very small voice, but I used to have a way smaller voice when I was young. And so most of the time, like even after that, I would ask people, can you please just like chill so I can sing for you? Because if you're talking or you're doing something, you won't be able to hear me. So for some reason, when I started singing, this crowd, this like all these kids that were just like they can't chill. They're just so energetic. They stayed quiet, and I was singing Mariah Carey's Hero, and um I just like they were attentive, and the fact that they gave me their attention like that was like wow. And when I was done performing, I just remember the standing ovation. They were jumping up on the tables, chairs were being thrown up and down, candy was being thrown. Like that was like, hey, you got all the candy because candy was so when you perform, you'd get candy. So that was the that was what we
The
were getting.
reward.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so candy was being thrown my way, and I was like, "Ooh!" It was like, yes. And then we used to have this music club in school that was. It was so hard to get in this music club, and it was like the best of the best, like the creme de la creme singers and dancers would be in that club, and um there was the patron of that club was also there on that evening, and he was hosting the whole thingy. So he was right behind me, so I turn around and I find this grown man crying, and yes, and I was just like,
Wow.
did I just make a grown man cry?
yeah, that's hard.
Yeah. And then you have to join the club. If you would be willing to join the club, please come and join us. And that was like a big deal. I was like, what? I'm gonna join the club. And I joined, and that was it. And then so that was the best experience, if you ask me. But the other time was when I now officially, after like I was done with university, and I just said, you know what, this is it. I'm going to start performing. I was actually so lucky. I was welcomed to open for one a legendary singer from Tanzania. Her name is Grace Matata. And she was like, yeah, you can come and open for me. And I just remember when I sang, the energy of the crowd was just that was it. I just knew that this is it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna quit my job because at that time I was also working in corporate. I had just started working in corporate. I was like, I'm
Hmm.
gonna quit my job and I'm gonna do this because I loved how I connected with the crowd. And even Grace was like, wow, how I fooled myself for putting you as an opener. And so yeah, it's been like that's just how it started, and it was some beautiful experiences for me starting in the as a singer.
Music industry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Super.
yeah.
Thanks for sharing those experiences. I have a question in regards to that. Where did
Uh-huh.
you get your what I mean, I know your music influences, but what inspires you to be so confident in these settings? Do you feel like you're confident, like when you hit the stage, or do you feel like it's something you always acquired or you always had it? Or like what gives you the courage to kind of just step out there and just kind of expose your talent to the world?
To be honest, I'm usually a mess. When I, like, for example, like going on to perform live, I am always a mess. Like, it's like I get nervous, I sweat even before the show. And so, but then what gives me courage is just it, this is something that's so passionate. It's something that music makes me feel so like at peace. It's therapy. I've been going through so much since 2019 to like I've been going on like a roller coaster. And one thing that really kept me sane was music. Being able to just go out there to the studio and record, write music, being able to host events and perform and sing and dance with my audience back at home, that really kept me going. If I didn't have that, I don't think I would be here right now. And so
Well,
it's time for me to get on stage and sing. As much as I'm usually so nervous, but I say my events are safe spaces because
mhm.
I have found a safe space for myself and other artists and even the audience. Usually when I get there, it's just like, yeah, we're doing this. So once I start singing the first two words, the music takes over and I become somebody else. And sometimes I do things where I look at videos the next day and I'm like, was that really me? I can't, like, did I just do that? And I even get embarrassed by myself. But then it's just like the thing that gives me courage is just the love for the music and the fact that it keeps me sane. It
Mhm.
it's
Mm,
therapy. Yeah.
it's
Mm,
wonderful.
Do you? I have a question. So I see that you create a lot of music and you have a lot out there on YouTube, Spotify. Um, at the moment or before, did you ever have music block, like music writer's block, where you just couldn't be inspired by something because something was just in the way and you just couldn't finish a song or something because you just couldn't think of what could have been next or something similar to that situation?
Yeah, that's currently happening.
Oh, right now. Oh,
Oh,
okay. Okay.
mm.
That's
Music
currently
writer's block. Okay.
I think one thing that triggered it is when I told you that sometimes I feel like I have to minimize myself and just like be invisible back at home.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
feel that is one of the triggers. When I released my EP last year in June, there were so many factors, but one is when you release music as an artist, you always have these goals. I think I set some really, really big goals for myself. And then
Yeah.
as much as I had made a really long stride based on my journey, but I hadn't reached most of these goals that I had set for myself. So and that was a bit disappointing for me, and maybe I had set some expectations and I didn't like really see them, and so I was really disappointed. And so I just like, it's like I naturally just took a break. I just gave myself like this break. And then
Hmm.
and also the fact that there's been so much, it's been messy back at home with regards to just like to the community, to even creatives. We're getting what's the word, we're getting audited and monitored like very very in it, like to an extent that is just it's ridiculous. So that also
Hmm.
kind of just makes me feel like and so I am right now, I'm taking this moment to just pick up new
Chill
inspiration.
out.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
As an artist, as a person that is inspired by singing and music, why is it important for you to create?
Well, because personally for me, it's it's an outlet. It's where I can just like release all my thoughts, all my happy feelings, sad feelings, where I can have a voice, where I can say whatever I want to say that I'm kind of scared of speaking out loud, but I could actually sing. And so, yeah, but also because for me, I've kind of found that, every artist, I feel like, or anyone in general, there's a purpose to life. And being an artist in Tanzania, and being a queer artist in Tanzania, I remember when I started, people would be like, yeah, this is not going to make sense. No one is going to listen to you. No one is going to pay attention. You don't really belong based on your sound, but also your identity. And then also people wouldn't book me for shows just because they're like, yeah, we can't really have your energy. And so when I started doing my own events and building my own safe spaces, I found that my purpose was to create a space for myself and all the other artists that are so amazing, but they just don't get the opportunities to be out there because of whatever gatekeepers are out there. So I also write music. I curate live music performances because also it's like in one way or another, I just want to make bring up like an inclusive space back at home where everyone can just be allowed to thrive and everyone has the opportunity, a chance at trying something. And so yeah, so my purpose for me is to, and most importantly, when you're queer in Tanzania or even most African countries, you're looked upon, like people would look at you like you're a curse, like you are useless, and like you're like there's something wrong, you're crazy. And so and like we don't like to work, we just like to have men take care of us. But that's not the case. Like we just like everybody else, and I use my platform and my voice to actually showcase that we also have excellence. We are just as human as everyone else because we're not seen as so, we're seen as demons, like literally. So so yeah, like I wanna, like I wanna achieve so much. I want to see so much success with my music, just so the narrative can change and be like, you know what? Uh they work hard, they can put in the work, and they have dreams, they have goals, and they actually can contribute to the community in general, and just they're just human. So I want positive PR for my community. And so that's something else. That's like my purpose. Yeah. Positive PR. I say it like that. I'm like
Yeah.
they need to think about us differently because yeah, it's somehow it feels unfair. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So let me ask this. Being a creator, do you create what you know already, or do you create what you are learning in the process?
Hmm. Interesting. My creative process sometimes usually just, I'm at a place where I was talking to an artist just a few days back when I was talking about the writer's block and just not being able to write. And it's so funny because I kind of wrote a few, like a verse when I was in the studio. This is like last week. And I was surprised. I was like, is it going away? But maybe it's just because I was inside a space where I was inspired. Anyway, so I was talking to an artist, and they were telling me how practicing every day, every week or every day has really made them own their creative process and own their music. Like when I say own, I mean like be at a point where you can summon, like, okay, we're gonna write music and it's gonna just come to you. Whereas I'm at a place where I feel like the music owns me, like it controls me.
Mm.
Sometimes I would be, and it's so funny because sometimes I would be doing something and a song would come to me and I would stop everything and I'd have to go and like listen and
Yeah.
just write and create. And then I would even have to be like, I'd call my producer, be like, Gachi, I'm coming right now. I'm coming to the studio because like there's this really amazing thing. If we don't do it now, it's gone. And so
Mm-hmm.
something I've been told is like just to practice more, give myself more practice, and then eventually I will be at a place where I control like everything. Like it doesn't just come to me, but I can summon the creative juices. So my creative process is usually like that, like it comes to me. Sometimes I'll be
Mm-hmm.
sleeping and then something comes to me. And so do I write what I already know, or like just that I feel like I just It's a free flow. Sometimes I I tend to be a little too careful, and I want to get that out of me. Where when I say too careful, I'm like, what am I writing? Oh my God, this is it going to make me seem like or is it going to rub people the wrong way? Because these days there's a lot of political correctness.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot.
There's a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
that. So
yeah,
sometimes I'm like,
definitely.
well, so
Yeah.
there is that. So I let myself free, um, and just whatever is flowing in me just flows. And yeah, I found that I've written along love. I've written along my story. I write what I know. I write what I know. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
Uh,
let me go ahead, T. Go ahead.
yeah, I just wanted to ask, from a performance I saw, it's a very catchy song you created called "Give It to You."
Yeah.
I watched the stage performance. It was really good. Now I have a question. The outfits do you have a dress, a person that dresses you, or do you choose your own outfits?
So
Yeah.
most of my outfits are usually custom made pieces. So
Yeah.
one thing that I miss that I'm
Hmm.
missing and I'm missing, shout out to Menta, shout out to Mauricio, shout out to Juma. These
Hmm.
are stylists and tailors from back at home
Hmm.
who I work with.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so I usually like to like do my own costumes. Like I design something and then I would work
Yeah.
with the people that I just mentioned. Here, I find that I have to go out there and buy something. It's a new experience for me, having to go and find things that are already there. I'm
Yeah.
used to custom pieces, like give me custom pieces, make me something for myself. Anyway, but it's a new experience and something I'm excited about. So yeah, these are pieces that we make from like ideation to like having them right there and I can wear them. And give it to you that live performance. I know I was wearing a French made costume.
Yeah, it's like yeah. I was trying to wonder if it symbolizes something, or did you just choose it out of fun?
I mean, so that was Halloween, and
Ah.
we tried to even like decorate the place to kind of look a little scary, but maybe it wasn't too scary. That was Halloween, and that was my Halloween costume, one of my Halloween costume. The first performance I was a witch, and
Mhm.
then the second one I was also anyway, I have to go back. We don't really celebrate Halloween back in Tanzania. Or
No,
maybe
it's
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Yeah,
American
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
It's
I
yeah,
learned
yeah,
American.
that
Yeah.
I learned
yeah.
that living in
Hmm.
Spain too. Spain is not really they're getting more into it now, but they don't
Yeah.
celebrate the culture like
yeah.
that.
We don't really celebrate Halloween. But the reason why I did a Halloween show was because I probably didn't say this, but my audience is 90% internationals. Like my audience back at
Mm.
home, it's
Hmm.
90%, okay, maybe 85% internationals, meaning like these are people from the United States, mostly
Hmm.
Europe, and
Hmm.
and so sometimes from a business point of view, you do certain things that are like that your audience likes, if that makes sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
if my
Yeah.
audience celebrates Halloween, then I will do a Halloween show and we will all dress up. And I love to dress up, so it was like another, like, just for me, I love to dress up. I just love to wear costumes. I like to explore different looks. And I was like, yeah, let's do this. So that was a Halloween show, and I did a Halloween performance specifically because it was like, yeah, this is for my people, but also this is just an opportunity for me to dress up and just wear something. So yeah, I chose the French maid because it's like it just came up. We don't go big on costumes also. I mean, it's a very new thing. So
Hmm.
easy costumes. Yeah, we don't go big.
Yeah.
Like I look at people here and how we all celebrate Halloween. It's like, whoo, you'll go.
Completely different. Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
play no games. We don't play
Yeah.
Uh,
I was like, I'll
no
be
when
a
it comes
French
to Halloween.
maid. I'll be a French maid, and yeah, and I thought it looked cute. Yeah.
So
Oh,
so
okay.
is it
I just thought it was connected to the song. That's all. But I
Oh no, it
wasn't
was
sure.
not. It was not at all. It wasn't. It was
Okay.
connected to the event. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I was gonna ask you, so is it necessary every time you perform on stage that you have to wear something that you're feeling that day?
That
Like
I'm.
for that you're feeling that day. For an example, if you're going to the street, you want to wear something that is on your mind that day, that you're feeling that day, that is showing you that type of energy. Like when you perform, do you have to put on a certain certain dress or a certain something to show the people what you're feeling that day?
Yeah. Um, Also, so music gives me freedom. Something else that I probably should have said earlier on. Music gives me
Mm.
freedom. So if you look at my videos from like when the first videos, on my YouTube, and you look at my videos, you would notice something. Like the more the years went by, the more comfortable I got with myself.
Yeah, your
Mm.
Mm.
design and
Yeah.
everything was changing. Yeah,
Yeah.
Outgrowing who you
hairstyles,
are
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
throughout the process.
back then I'd just be like, oh, keep it simple. Even when we would design something, my friend Juma would be like, Frankie, I want you to wear a leotard. I'd be like, are you sick? Like, are you sick? We haven't gotten there yet, and I don't
Yeah.
know, I'm so sure. But like he would say something, he would design something that is like so intense back then, and I would be like, yeah, remove that, make it basic, because I also didn't
Mhm.
want to get in trouble, okay? But
Yeah,
then
yeah.
the more I did, the more I did live performances, and the more I was becoming comfortable in my skin, comfortable in expressing myself again, because it's a safe space we've built. So when I am about to do a show, I wear something that, yeah, would tell a story, or just something that would make me feel, because again, that is like an opportunity for me to just be, because I can easily be like, okay, you know what, if the police comes, because they do come, like, because they can come quick. Yeah,
Oh,
like,
wow.
what do I mean by the police comes? Okay, so I'm just gonna take you down this road, and I'm sorry, I'll apologize, because it's like kind of negative. Back at home, when you're queer, when you are a member of the LGBT community,
Mm.
you can easily get convicted
Arrested.
years up to life in prison.
Wow.
Oh
Wow.
my God.
Sometimes,
Wow. So it's
sometimes
corrupted.
yeah, you
Yeah.
like, they have whatever proof, they can they can get you in trouble. So I use art as a like
A way
like
to expose it.
Expression or
like a
Hmm.
loophole, like a loophole.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I'd
Hmm.
be like, you know what? If they come to me, I'll just be like, hey, this is just a persona. That's my, that's how it
Okay.
started back. I'm like, this is just persona, like, I'm straight. I'm playing, but I'm saying
Yeah.
like, I do this because through art I feel like, I don't know if I'm right or wrong. Maybe I'm being delusional, but through art I feel like I can get away with certain things. That's
Right.
one
Mm.
thing I always say, and I always speak to organizations back at home, and I'm like, if you are trying to bring a change where the like the communities in Tanzania are more what's the word, like just open-minded and letting people be, I think
Hmm.
one of the channels that we can use is art, it's music, because music can somehow do things that are, I'll speak for music because I'm a musician, but art in general can somehow do things or say things that are hard to say or do, like, and like things that could, something that could be offensive, you can say it through music, and maybe it might not be as offensive, I don't know, like it might just not hurt as if you just said it out loud and just like a statement out in the
Right.
public.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about the energies that comes with it. Maybe it's because it comes with a rhythm and like all these melodies. So
Hmm.
yeah, for me, I dress how I dress at the moments when I'm performing, because it's like another opportunity to just be, but also I feel
Yeah.
like it's another opportunity where I can get away with it. So
Yeah. And express
Mm.
yourself.
you find me
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
when I'm not performing, I look homeless. Ooh, sorry.
Yeah.
I look like I look like I don't have a home. I look like, sometimes I meet people. I would meet some fans at the supermarket, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, that's Frankie, you're Frankie." And one time I remember I had just come out of the house. I was like messy. I just needed a cupcake, and I went to buy cupcakes somewhere. I'm a foodie. So I met some fans, and then I'm down there like picking, like choosing what I want. And then I look up, I see three ladies standing right in front of me, and they're like, "We're huge fans of yours, and we just saw you and wanted to come say hello." I had to stop and be like, "Listen, I'm not always like this, okay?" So we're
You
not
didn't
gonna,
wake up
um.
like this.
I'm
Let
like,
me let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. So we all go through a time that is very that can be very difficult. And one of the questions I like to ask a lot of the guests on the podcast is what what have you done to help you stay consistent when you went through dark times in your life? What has helped you stay consistent?
Huh. Wow. That's an interesting question. Because honestly, like I'm just gonna be honest right now. I feel like there's times when I just drifted away. And I feel like I'm being vulnerable right now. I feel like there's times when I've just drifted away and it's kind of like in a way distorted my consistency as an artist that's recording and releasing music out there. But one thing I've always done is the live performances. So what keeps me consistent with that? It's because I feel like I have no choice but to do it, because if I don't, there's that moment when I start missing that space. Because when I say safe space, like I say this word so many times because it is like there's
Hmm.
just a time when I'd perform in January, and then sometimes I'd stay for like a month without doing any show really. Like not any show outside of Tanzania, not any show in Tanzania, in Dar es Salaam. And then I immediately would start feeling like, what am I doing? And so, and also just like there's that there's that high that I miss, that I would get for just being in a space where we can all just be beautiful and amazing, and we can all just embrace ourselves in all our different colors. And it's a perfect moment for a for a while, right? So I start missing this. And then so I feel like it's the yearning for a moment where I can be free that really keeps me consistent. Because when I'm not doing it, when I don't do it for a long time, performing or even writing, there's just that I become uncomfortable, and I just want to go out there and do something, and see my people and sing and dance with them, get on that high, and then be like, huh. So yeah, it's the yearn, it's the fact that I yearn for freedom, and music gives me that freedom. So that reminds me every time, like, we got to get out there and do something. But also I give this to also like my audience back at home. Even they too, sometimes when I go quiet, or maybe sometimes when I'm touring around Africa and I'm not in Tanzania, and I'm not in Tanzania for like 2 months or 3 months, they would just be like, Frankie, we like, come back. We're missing this. We're missing this whole space. And so even they sometimes, just they help me stay consistent. And this is for
That's
live performances. Yeah.
that's wonderful. I mean, you kind of touched on a little bit of like what it seems like is like this is really your passion, you know? Without
Yeah.
it, you kind of feel distant from it. And then also too, you touched on like how great it is to have support systems. And it seems like your fans, they're kind of like they're a little bit of a reminder for you that like you gotta get back to that passion, you know? That's wonderful.
Don't give up. Yep.
That's
Yeah,
I
wonderful.
I
yeah.
love my audience, and I hope they can get to hear this. And I get goosebumps right now that I'm saying this, because they are this, like, they're together, me and them. We've created like this perfect utopia, and it's like we've created this world, and it's just so beautiful. They've given me like, I'd like to say, as much as, yes, yeah, I have a voice and like I'm performing and I have this talent, but I feel like I couldn't have done any of this without them. Because I mean, you need an audience, right? If you're doing
hmm
shows, you need to
Hmm.
Yeah,
listen
they
to you.
motivate you to keep going. Yeah.
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 And so I feel like they're the ones, honestly. It's them. And I always tell them, I usually say this, I'm like, guys, I would, even if someday, because I'm a touring artist all over the world, so if someday I find myself somewhere else in the world, I would always remember you. And I do, and right now I am doing that. I'm remembering them because they've seen me grow. Some of these people have seen me grow since like 2016, and they keep coming to my shows. They somehow, and I don't call them fans really, like, it's my audience, it's my family, it's my people. And I'm just like, even someday when I am performing and I'm selling out big arenas, I just know that you guys are the ones that have made me get all the way here. Like, I would always, 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 always cherish them. Like, I just love them so much. They're so special to me. They will always be.
That's the
Yeah,
way it
So
should be.
that's
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
dope.
yeah.
hmm
So what would you say to somebody that is having trouble being consistent and they're in a dark place right now? What would you say to that person?
So one thing I always do, and something else that really saves me, apart from the creative side of me, is a support system. And a support system can be anything. I have really amazing friends that are like my family. So those are the ones, again, like whenever I feel like I am not being, and I'm one person that really um I I measure my life and achievement based on what, like, I just measure my life and what I'm doing based on what how I'm achieving my goals, like my achievements. So I'm the kind of person who, like, when it's in the evening and I haven't ticked off several things on my to-do list, I feel like I wasted that day. I just, like, I put too much pressure on myself like that. And so sometimes when I feel like I'm losing it and I'm just not doing anything and I feel like I'm being like not productive, my friends are like the ones that I go to. They would just they would remind me of the inspirations that I sometimes might forget. They would remind me of what I do, but also they would just give me um that that space to be. And sometimes it's because I'm going through something and I just need somebody to talk to. And maybe when I speak to somebody, I can open myself up to just going back and keep being consistent. And so it's for me, it's my support system, which is it's mostly my friends. So I'd say find a support system, and it can be anything, it can be anyone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That, because
Wonderful.
if you
Yeah.
rely on your art to be your support system, sometimes when the juices are not there, what now? There has to be some
Exactly.
or something that is that has to keep you going. And so it's the support system for me. Yeah.
Support system. Yeah, thank you. So let me, before we end the show, I'm going to ask you, what is the future? What is the future for you? What is something you want to accomplish this year? Well, what is something you want to accomplish by the end of this year, and what
Mm.
is something you want to achieve before you hit that that spot? Like, what is so this is what I'm trying to ask. Uh, end of this year, what is something you want to do before the end of this year, and what is something you hope to achieve before you finish your music career?
The one word, I mean, the two words that maybe this is personal and not necessarily music career, but the it's freedom and peace. Like
Freedom and peace.
I want that freedom and peace,
Mm-hmm.
and just being, and yeah, freedom and peace, and that will bring in happiness. I'd say that. And
Yeah.
then
Mm,
career wise, like specifically as a singer, I am now on a journey where I am looking for my audience elsewhere. When I say I'm looking for my audience elsewhere, is I took some time to look at the audience back at home. It's internationals, it's Europeans, it's
Mm-hmm.
Americans,
Mm-hmm.
it's some Asians. I want to go where they are and 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 find more of them,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and build my audience over there, over there, over there, over there. I'm like, I'm trying to, like, I learned something about Walmart. Apparently, when Walmart started, they had like they went to niches, and then they put themselves in many niches, and then eventually they just took over like the industry that they're in. So that's the
monopoly.
thing of, like, I feel like there's so much power in niche audiences and niche markets. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm out here just looking for the tribes. And I'm so like, I found so many of these in Berlin, in Dublin, in Spain, in San Francisco. I performed
Mm-hmm.
last Sunday here in San Francisco, and wow, just that's all I can say. I'm still on a
Yeah.
high performance, and
That's
that's
dope.
and I also travel around the world, in Africa, in Kenya. Kenya is like my other home. Like, that's my second home after Tanzania. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's my goal. So it's to find my audience all over the world. And many years from now, I want to be that artist that um when you say my name, it tells you, people would relate my name um to some sort of
Big
liberation.
superstar. Oh,
Not,
Yeah.
oh,
yeah.
okay. The liberation too. Okay.
Yes, superstar, the stardom, the stardom, like,
Yeah.
where we're
I have
doing
a
tours worldwide, but also liberation for my community. I want to be that artist that has done it with other artists or with other activists back at home. And when I say done it, I mean like that has liberated my community, where first of all we are free to be heard. We have that freedom of speech, which we don't normally have, and also be all over the world, explore our opportunities. Because that's what I'm telling all the other artists that are just like me back at home. I'm like, you guys, you need to just explore the world, because there's so much out here, and I'm coming here and I'm just seeing it right now. And all of that will obviously come with influence. So I mean,
yeah.
I want to have a
Mhm.
house by a beach somewhere over there, like a big mansion.
Yeah,
Uh,
I feel
I have
that.
a
I love that
question for your
energy.
fans, though. I have a question for your fans. You know how Beyonce has the bees, the bee tribe, like a group, the beehive is what she
Yeah.
calls them.
Beehive.
Nicki
Come on,
Minaj has
Teon.
the barbs. Nicki Minaj has the barb. What would your fan base be called? What is the name you have for them?
No, we don't. I call myself a little rebel because I
Hmm.
feel like that's who I am back at home. I used to call myself a little rebel. I don't think I'm little anymore. But yeah,
Yeah.
so I think my fans are rebels because, again, like,
Ah.
I get that energy from them. Like, we are
Yeah.
all rebels because we're doing,
Hmm.
I'd like to say, some impossible things back at home. We're doing,
Hmm.
and sometimes we even put ourselves in danger just so
Hmm.
just so we can have like that moment where we can just have a safe space. So we're
Yeah.
rebels. We're complete rebels. Like, when you come to my show,
Okay.
see all these people, it's like, where am I? That's how you'd feel. And so,
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Rebels is the answer.
So,
Nice.
so before we end the show, we
Mhm.
like to. I usually like we usually like to end the show on an inspirational message, just to give to somebody that needs to hear something inspiring. What is your
Mhm.
inspirational message you would give to somebody that needs some inspiration right now?
Some
Geez.
advice.
Wow.
Hmm.
Now you're trying to make me a motivational speaker. And I don't think I am one. Like, I need some advice. Honestly, one thing I'd say, let me just think right now and say something that actually makes sense before I just jump into. Um, I just say, listen to your heart and trust in your guts. And like, do not doubt yourself with everything. This goes like with everything. Just listen to your heart and do those things that, like, do all those, no matter how ridiculous they might sound, do them. Just go for it. And I say this because I'm here now exploring my niche audiences elsewhere. And one thing I find myself saying is, I wish I came here 5 years ago. I wish I went to Europe 5 years ago. And why did I not do it then? It's because I doubted it. I doubted that it's even possible. I doubted that there even is an audience out there for me. So when there's something in your head that's just like there's this curiosity, allow yourself to be curious and always trust your gut.
Mm, yes,
Wonderful.
thank you so
Wow.
much.
Yeah. Hmm.
This, guys, before we end it, you can find Frankie on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and you have TikTok as well.
I'm like all over the place. I'm making it easy for you all to find me everywhere. TikTok,
Hmm.
YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, for music streaming, Spotify, Apple Music,
Apple Music. Yeah, that's why.
Oh, music.
Hmm.
Okay.
Boomplay in Africa.
Hmm.
And so yeah, go stream my music. And my name is the same everywhere. It's just Frankie Maston. And it's a Frankie with an IE. So if you just search Frankie Maston anywhere, that's pretty much, I feel like I'm the only one.
Okay. Yes.
Very unique.
Okay. Okay.
Nice.
Yes. Yo, so you can, yes, go check her out on all platforms, please. Just the Thought Podcast. I am your host, Ray, my cousin Dre,
What's up, you guys?
the homie Teon,
You already
Frankie
know.
Matson. Thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
are
Thank you, Frankie.
out.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank